You ever just sit in a room full of people and feel completely alone? Not physically alone, surrounded by noise, by faces, by conversations happening all around you, and yet something inside you feels like it is behind a glass wall, watching everything from a distance, unable to really touch it or be touched by it. That feeling has a name, and more importantly, it has a reason. And today we're going to get to the bottom of it together. Because here's what nobody tells you. That hollow feeling in your chest, that quiet ache of going through the motions without really feeling connected to any of it, it is not a personality flaw. It is not you being broken. It is actually your mind and body sending you a very specific signal that something needs to change. And once you understand that signal, everything shifts. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you had a conversation that actually felt real? Not just surface-level small talk, not just scrolling through someone else's highlight reel online, but a genuine, soul-level connection where you felt truly seen and understood. If you are struggling to remember, you are not alone. Research shows that more people today report feeling deeply lonely and disconnected than at any other point in recorded history. And the wild part is, most of them would never describe themselves as lonely. They are busy, they are social, they have phones full of contacts. But there is a difference between being around people and actually feeling connected to life. Before we go deeper, if what you are already hearing is resonating with you on a gut level, there are related programs linked down in the video description below. These resources go far beyond what any single video can cover, and right now is honestly the best time to check them out because the people who tend to wait usually keep waiting. Do not be one of them. Take a look and then come back here. Now let us talk about what disconnection actually feels like from the inside, because I want you to know that I understand this experience, not in a general clinical kind of way, but in the specific, quiet, invisible kind of way that most people never get to hear described out loud. You wake up in the morning and for a split second everything feels fine. And then it hits you. That low-level flatness. Like the world turned its brightness down a few notches and forgot to tell you. You go through your routine, you smile when you are supposed to smile, you say the right things, you function completely normally by every external measure. But inside there is this persistent whisper that asks, is this it? Is this really all there is? You find yourself sitting at dinner with people who matter to you and realizing you are not fully there. Your body showed up, but your presence is somewhere else entirely. You listen to your friends talk about their problems and you care, you genuinely care, but you feel like you are observing it through a window rather than being part of it. And the hardest part is not being able to explain it to anyone because how do you tell someone you feel disconnected when everything on paper looks completely fine? Here is what the research actually tells us. Disconnection is not random. It follows a very specific pattern. It builds over time through a combination of unprocessed stress, suppressed emotional needs, a gradual drift away from what actually matters to you, and a nervous system that has learned to stay in a low-grade protective mode because being fully open and present has felt too risky or too painful at some point. Think of it this way. Your nervous system is like a security system in a house. When something threatening happens, it locks down. It closes the windows, it dims the lights, it goes into protection mode. And that is brilliant in the short term. But the problem is, most people never get the signal that the threat has passed, so the system stays locked, and you end up living in a protected house that never quite feels like home. This is why no amount of social media scrolling fixes it. This is why filling your calendar with plans and events and activities and distractions does not touch it. Because you cannot think your way out of a nervous system response. You cannot hustle your way out of emotional shutdown. And the people who figure this out earliest, the ones who stop throwing productivity at an emotional problem and start actually addressing the root, those are the people whose lives look completely unrecognizable in a matter of months. Not years, months. Studies on human connection show that people who actively work on their capacity for presence and emotional attunement report not just feeling more connected to others, but feeling more connected to themselves, to their own desires, to their own sense of direction, to their own aliveness. And the ripple effects of that are staggering. Better relationships, sharper clarity in decision-making, reduced anxiety, deeper sleep, more motivation, more creativity. All of it flows from one source, the decision to stop numbing and start feeling. Now let me paint you a picture of what the other side looks like. Because this is important. Imagine waking up and not immediately reaching for your phone to fill the silence. Imagine sitting with yourself for a few minutes in the morning and actually feeling okay. Not performing okayness, genuinely feeling it. Imagine having a conversation with someone you care about where you are fully completely there, where you laugh and it actually reaches your eyes, where you hear them and they feel it, where you are not half present and half somewhere else in your head. Imagine going through a hard day and instead of white-knuckling your way through it or collapsing into distraction, you actually have the emotional tools to move through it, to feel what you feel and not be swept away by it, To come out the other side still standing, still clear, still yourself. This is not a fantasy. This is what happens when people do the actual work of reconnecting, not the surface level stuff. Not the journaling for 3 days and then stopping. Not the meditation app you downloaded and forgot about. The real work. The kind that actually rewires how your brain and body relate to connection, to presence, to being alive. People who commit to this process consistently report the same kinds of changes. Within weeks, not months, they notice a shift in how present they feel in conversations. Their relationships start to feel less like obligations and more like genuine sources of energy. The flatness lifts, not all at once, but steadily, like a fog that has been there so long you forgot what the view looked like underneath it. And then one day you look up and you can see clearly again. The cost of staying disconnected is enormous, not just emotionally. Chronic disconnection is linked to higher rates of anxiety, depression, physical health decline, and a general erosion of life satisfaction over time. Every year spent in that fog is a year of experiences you were present for but did not fully feel. Relationships that existed but never deepened. Moments that passed without landing. That is the real cost. And most people do not calculate it until much later than they should. The good news is, you are calculating it right now. You clicked on this. You are still here. That means something in you knows. Something in you is ready to stop being a passenger in your own life and start actually living it. Most people scroll past this kind of content because they are not ready to face it. But you are watching. You stayed. That already sets you apart. Here is what I want you to understand before you do anything else. Disconnection does not fix itself with time. It deepens. Every month you stay in that protected glass wall version of your life is another month of experiences you move through without truly touching. The people who reconnect fastest are not the ones who waited until they felt ready. They are the ones who decided to move before they felt ready, because they understood that readiness is built by moving, not by waiting. The related programs in the video description below are there for exactly this reason. For the person who is done waiting. For the person who looked at their life and decided that feeling like a bystander to it is no longer acceptable. If that is you, do not sit on this. The version of your life where you are fully present, genuinely connected, and actually alive is not somewhere in the future waiting for the right moment. It starts with the choice you make right now.